And welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime. Last time we got the high jump boots, so now we're back in the Phendrana Drifts to try to see what we can collect now. So, if we go over here, we can actually, well, make it up here in the first place, and now we can miss the jump entirely. That works. We can jump over to this floating platform right here. From here, we can make it to this part of the level. Scan this. It's Cordite, which Cordite can be destroyed not with missiles, apparently. Okay. I'm not sure how we destroy this, actually. Not missiles, not charge beam. Probably not bombs, because it's all the way up there. So, guess we're leaving that for now. Now, it's actually, that's not what I meant to scan at all. Electrical energy can harm them, so we can't hurt these guys either. I was double checking. By the way, they're actually drawn to the charge beam. I don't know if I really pointed that out last time, so yeah, definitely try to not get too charge happy with those guys around. Unless you're charging the weapon that can actually destroy them, then that's totally okay. Yes, they are weak to a certain weapon, which we will be getting in the very near future. Possibly, now my memory is a little bit shaky of this area, but possibly as early as this video. If we get really lucky and don't get completely turned around, which is more likely than not. Feels like there's something hidden here, but I don't know what, so I guess we'll just keep moving. Now I was thinking of something else to point out in the this recording, because again, this is a different recording session, but I actually forgot what it was going to be. Oh, whoops. So yeah, if it comes to me, then I will definitely make note of it, but yeah, there's something I meant to bring up in this video, but I completely spaced it out. I should have written it down. I should have made a note to myself. I really should keep a little bit better. Not just about Let's Plays, but just life, because I have an awful memory. This is a statue depicting the bust of a Chozo architect. Statue's flawless. Shaman. Several fractures can be seen running along the surface of this brimstone object. Whoops. Well, hopefully, that's not like 7 years bad luck blowing up a Chozo statue. Now, there is something we can do in this room, if I'm not mistaken. Morph, please. But we can't do anything yet. I don't think. I think we have to wait until we get, like, our last upgrade until we can actually do something with this, which is kind of lame. But also kind of typically Metroid, actually, making you go really far out of your way to get cool stuff. Break this, fall down. You know what's really weird to me right now is I actually have 2 Let's Plays in the works beyond this, because I actually don't know which one's actually going to be uploaded, because I was doing a capture test of 2 different consoles, or 2 different platforms, so I'm not sure if either recordings turn out well, so I'm just kind of, well, it's kind of a waiting game, which is a little bit stressful, but also, it's also just kind of unusual. It feels off, having that uncertainty. This is the wave beam. Well, it was the wave beam, but we got a little bit of a problem. Got a bunch of these things to deal with. And even more show up as you start defeating them. I like how these guys are just waiting here, and I kind of wonder about the logistics of just having a bunch of monsters just literally in a tiny room until someone is ready to, like, take on a trial. That just feels a little bit weird. That these things would just be, like, waiting in this room, like, what if Samus didn't crash land on this planet to get a wave beam? Then what? These things would just be waiting in those tiny little rooms forever, and, like, how would they eat or survive? Weird game logic things that I contemplate way too much for my own good. That's all of them. Oh! You may be thinking to yourself, that's a big Sheegoth. Yes, it is. Sheegoth, Supreme Predator of the Phendrana Drifts. Sheegoths are invulnerable to most beam weapons. The crystals on their back absorb energy which they can fire on prey. Sheegoths have poor stamina. They hyperventilate after using their breath attack, making their mouth area vulnerable. Concussive blasts. That's what I want to hear. I was actually getting really confused because I was like, wait, isn't there supposed to be a boss here? And yes, there is a boss. Ow. That must not be fun. Oh, concussive blast. Does that count missiles? This does not count missiles. Okay. So when it uses the breath attack, I guess to spam missiles. Yep. That is what we are supposed to do. I wonder if we can like roll under it, because it said something about its underside being vulnerable as well. So I assume we could also potentially roll under it and deal with it that way, but this seems more efficient, to be honest. Even though it is kind of an ammo drain. Yes. I think you have to be close to it. It's like a Hyrule Warriors fight, where you have to kind of bait it into using the right attack. And before I get hit by like some other attack, while trying to get it to use this. Okay, yeah, it seems to only have the one close range attack, which is good. Backdash? You can't backdash, you can only side hop. Which is kind of odd. I could use a backdash for this fight, at least. It roared, so that's not a good sign. From a standpoint of probably meaning a second phase of sorts. Or it can just keep doing the exact same thing it kept doing earlier. That works too. Yeah, now I'm curious. Can I actually bomb him? Wow. Okay. Note to self. Bombs on the Sheegoth. For sure. That is very good to know for the future. So we got the Wave Beam, which is a staple of the series. Now, I'm getting my beams confused. In Super, was this the one that could go through walls, or was that the Spazer? I'm trying to remember, and I can't, for the life of me, remember which one was which one went through walls. If it was the Wave Beam or the Spazer. Which is actually, I don't think ever appeared in another another Metroid, so, yeah, that's kinda weird. Warrior, it's flawless. Flawless. That's actually cool. How they all, it's like, this is flawless, and then you see the other one, it's like, this is actually cracked. And it's like, oh, maybe I have to blow it up. Oh yeah, now that we have the Wave Beam, we can actually deal with these things. Because they're weak to energy attacks. And now we can actually... Oh, so something to note is, I think when you actually hit a door with a beam, it actually loses its element. Like if we use, like that one door's not saying it's a Wave Beam door anymore. I might be wrong, but we'll find out later, because there are cases where we have to backtrack through doors that are specific weapons, that are opened by specific weapons. Blue doors are opened by anything, by the way. So if we look at the map, you'll recall that there was this area over here that had a purple door. So that's our next stop. And by the way, we can actually save ourselves a lot of time. Because we actually have the high... actually, that's what it was. What is typically called the high jump in other games is actually called the space jump in this game. And I was actually just looking at stuff yesterday, and I was, well, like scheduling videos and putting in tags, and I saw this. It's like, why does it say it's the space jump? Because that's a different power-up. But yeah, it's technically what in most games would be more akin to like high jump, because space jump instead of just being like, oh, you can jump higher, or in this case, you can double jump, which I guess is kind of like the space jump, but it's extremely gutted. In like Super, and I think also in Zero Mission, space jump lets you jump repeatedly, like not just double jump, but jump like infinitely. As long as you don't have ceiling above you, you can just keep jumping. That is obviously a limitation of the space jump in a 3D space, is that you can't just spam jumps to infinity and beyond, which really makes perfect sense if you think about it, but it's just kind of unfortunate as a game concept that, it's not quite the space jump of old. I can't believe I actually remembered what I was trying to say. Honestly, that looks pretty nasty, actually, blowing off the shell of the Shigoth. And here's some lore we missed last time. Might as well scan that while we're here. Great poison. Ooh, that's not good. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness. At its heart, we will place a cipher, a mystical lock, powered by 12 artifacts, and filled with as much power as we chose can harness. Well, guess we need 11 more. I hear the first artifact that you're supposed to find in order is actually at the actual temple, which on a practice run I stumbled onto by complete accident. So, oh shoot, I remember what we need to do here. This is actually a cool puzzle. Let's see, not really a puzzle, but cool mechanic, I guess would be a better way to say it. Ow. Where was the, oh, okay, up here? Through here. We can lock onto that and shoot a missile into it, and that drops an icicle, creating a bit of a shortcut. Or a way over there at all. So that's just one of those nice little details. And honestly, to be completely honest, that feels less contrived to me. Now other games do it, like Assassin's Creed 2 is like incredibly contrived with their shortcuts. Things like, oh look, I conveniently dropped a ladder when I jumped across this obstacle. I can use this to get back up. And also the character being like, I can use this to get back up if I fall, being incredibly dorky. So now I'm curious. Okay, so it's a one-way purple door. That's kind of random, actually. I think there's no, like, issue with, like, oh, there's a red door, but you go through it with the wave beam from the other side. I don't think there's anything like that. It's always, like, a colored door with a neutral door. To my knowledge, at least. I may be mistaken. Where the heck are we now? Oh, I remember where we are now. Welcome to platforming hell. That sounds like I'm just being snarky, but I'm not actually just being snarky. It actually is kind of bad, if I recall correctly. Again, there's a chance that this isn't as bad as I remembered being, because again, when I played the game last was when I was like, 13 or 14. That was a really long time ago. So this platforming segment might not be as bad as I expect it to be, or it could be just as bad as I expect it to be. Seeing how much trouble I'm having getting into the morph ball target, that's always a good sign. That's obviously not the morph ball target we're supposed to use yet. Inactive, okay. Oh, is this the one where you have to like sequentially activate several morph ball targets to like raise the water or something? I think we have to raise the water, I'm pretty sure. To get back up to the top of the area. There we go, there it's activated. Metroid Prime really is clever. While some puzzles do tend to be head scratchers, some are just downright like nefarious in how they're set up. They're not so much in this particular game. I remember having a lot, the game having a lot more intricate design in 2 and 3. 3 is a weird game because 3 is also like somewhat linear, but it's also kind of different from other Metroid games in the standpoint of oh, well, I screwed that up really badly. It's also like, it's a Metroid game, and I would completely argue that, which one was I just talking about? Prime 3? The Prime 3 is completely 100% a Metroid game, but it's also a very different Metroid game. It's basically like the Skyward Sword of Metroid, where it's a lot more focused than just go anywhere. Which is something I'm not as crazy about, that's why I like 2 the best, even though 2 is also pretty linear. This is the most open Metroid game, I would say, by far. Because I've gotten lost so many times and found things that are really cool that I wasn't even supposed to see yet. Like, again, the artifact, we don't need the artifacts until literally the end game, and yet I already have one of the 12, which is actually really funny to me. I just was like, wait, what's this thing? And then it's actually an artifact. I didn't remember that being an energy tank, but I'll take it. Also, I'm rolling slowly so I don't fall off the edge of the platform, in case you're wondering. Can I check this out? Not if I push the wrong button, that would help. I pushed B instead of A. So, well, we're doing this again. Also, you're probably thinking to yourself, hopefully we get the Spider Ball track next time we go through here, because there is a Spider Ball, which would indicate that we at some point can just use the Spider Ball to get to the top of this area rather than using the water, which is really, really handy, and a big shortcut, which is also something I like about this game, and pretty much every Metroid game. You basically have a ton of little moves that you get throughout the game that actually make just basic things easier, like backtracking is a lot easier sometimes, and this door isn't active, which isn't a bad sign at all. So yeah, the funny part is because I'm recording this like the air quotes morning slot. Yeah, I have no clue what video is actually going up after this. Fun fact. We don't need that. Unless we wanted to end off the video here, but honestly, we got a couple more minutes. I think I'm gonna keep going. This is actually, if I recall, a pretty cool area we're coming up on. Also, the wave beam stuns, actually causes the turrets to go haywire. Just trying to scan you. Well, okay, fine. You want to be that. Cool. I always thought that that scream that the space pirates do in this game was like really cool. I don't remember what it was, but it reminds me of something. Oh. That's not a problem at all. Got ready to hear this song a lot, because this is the Space Pirates song, and yeah, it plays throughout the game. Space Pirate, I don't need to know about Space Pirates, I just need to survive. Strafe. That's my advice. Just strafe a lot. It's a good song, but just kinda I don't know. It plays too much. And it's not like complicated enough to be like super good in my opinion. I guess I'm gonna have to go on my music tangent next time because we're actually at time. Also, we're not sealed in, by the way. We can leave now that the space pirates are gone. So if you want to go back and save, go for it. But in any case, thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next time for more Metroid Prime.